Hello everyone, it's Jean from Inky Studio, and today I'm going to be doing finishing up our folio we've been working on. And if you've missed that assembly, I'll put down a playlist down below so you can refer back to that. Today we're going to be putting in the little journal that fits inside the folio, plus I'm just going to show you my choices of tags and ephemera and what I did with that. So let's get started. Inside here, inside this spine is going to go the journal. And I put together, I would say about 8 pages, pretty sure 8 pages of digital prints there from her pages part of her kit. Plus I put in some of the other papers from her classic Christmas paper. Excuse me. And so that's what I did for that. And then for the cover, I was going to go for another cover. I was going to choose this one here, but I changed my mind and I went with this page with the beautiful pinecone image on it, and I just felt like that just really tied everything in so much better than the other one. But you choose the cover that you like and you enjoy the most. Now you could sew this in, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make this a replaceable journal. And so to do that, I'm going to put an eyelet at the top and bottom, and I'm going to be using elastic cording to hold the journal inside so you can slip it in and out. So that's why I decided to do with this one. Now you probably should make sure that you do have a pretty stable spine. So if you're not using craft envelopes, you might want to put down some heavy cardstock inside here before you put the cloth down, or you can just put it here on the outside if you wanted to and then cover up with decorative paper. But make sure that you've got, a pretty stable spine in there. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it at the both ends, and I don't want to get, all the way to the edge, of course. I kind of want to be like in this area. Before I do though, I do need to put down my decorations for that. So I have strips of decorative paper that is just a hair more narrow than my spine is. And you'll have to keep experimenting with that and cutting it up and laying it down till you get just the right width for that. So you'll want to put that on, and then you'll want to put it on this side as well, just to finish it out. And so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to put it on those two sides, and that will finish up the outside of the journal. Now I chose the ticking, the green ticking. I liked that, but anything that appeals to you would work here. That's for sure. And I want to make sure I get really close to the edge, because that's where it's going to lift if it's not down well enough. I'm going to go ahead and follow the border pretty much. That's over here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just follow that pretty close anyways. Just leaving a little bit there. And then I'll do the same for this side. Okay, once you have that all down, now we're ready to go ahead and put our eyelets in so that we're catching all that in at one time. I'm just going to make sure that this is all glued down well. All right, so I'm just going to cut it with my crocodile, and now I do have cloth down here, so an easier way to get through the cloth is to make sure that the little hole puncher comes down in the cloth first, and then it just makes a better hole. So, but it's not, totally necessary, but I do like to put the cloth as the first thing that little punch gets into. All right, so I'm going to go, and I'm not going to hammer it here on, I'm not going to hammer it on the camera, but I am going to put my eyelets in. Okay, once we have our eyelets in, we're going to put in our elastic thread or cording. I'm just going to put it through here. Now, this is 1.2 millimeter. No, it's 2 millimeters. This is 2 millimeters thick. Probably, it's not, it'd probably be nice if it were just a little bit thicker, like maybe 4 would be nice, something like that. So I'm putting it in double. So that way, and it will hold it, you know, really well. And then once you have it in there, you just, you know, not tight, just somewhat snug. And then we're just going to tie it into a knot here. Just like that. And we'll make a square knot and tie it pretty tight there. All right. And that is going to be where we put our writing journal in. I might even put these back a little bit more. There we are. Now I suspect I'm going to probably have to cut this back a little bit just because until you get your elastic in, you can't quite measure exactly how tall to make your journal. So it is off just a hair. So I'm going to shave off a little bit of that in the top. That looks really good. Yep, that looks real good. And that means I'll have to take off of the insides too. So I will do that. I want to reinforce the fold in here because the idea would be, I would think, is to keep this as your cover as you replace more papers on the inside. So this is going to take, you know, it's going to be used a lot, and I want that spine area to be reinforced. So I'm going to glue down some cloth here right on that spine. You could use some muslin. I got printed cloth here. I think it's kind of pretty to use cloth. I'm going to do it just like I did on the folio itself when I glued in cloth on the spines there. Just going to put down a layer here. And I'll just come out here to the edges. Look. And this way, that spine will hold up to being used a couple of times. You know, maybe 3 or 4 times, maybe even more. There we go. You could put that on the outside as well, depending on what your image is. I think it would cover too much up on that. And so that is ready to put into here. Just like so. So that's in there. Now for the middle section, I have a surprise for you. I do have a free digital for you to download. I made some little recipe cards to go in here. And I just thought that was the perfect thing to put inside these little places. I mean, so often we have recipes that are our favorite recipes or ones that we have in the family or we come across that worked out really well. So I've made little recipe cards that they come in the print is like this, and then I just fold them in half, and you can make, you know, as many as you care to, of course. I'm putting in one right at this point, but I think 2 or 3 would fit in there eventually, and I might end up doing that down the road. So that's what I put inside these 2 flaps. Also, you know, this is a nice place to decorate. I think she has in her kit a whole bunch of like these little tickets type of thing. It'd be cute to put little tickets here and there to kind of decorate the inside of that. Now for in here, to keep inside, I'm putting in some photo mounts. And I just printed some pages. Now this is the one that I originally was going to print for the cover, and I'm just going to turn this into a photo mount to place here in the middle. Also, I have a half of a page that we cut to use something else, and then this is left over from that. I think it was this one here. Yeah, I think it's the other side of this one. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, one was left over. So 3 or 4, you know, however many you want. I'm going to cut them down a little bit smaller than what's here. Alright, so I have cut them down. I rounded the corners a little bit. And so yeah, these things could make really cute photo mounts. It's a nice big area to put a large photo in, or a couple. And so I'm just going to store those right here on the inside, like so. Alrighty, so we have that done. Let's come over to these pockets here. And she has a very large selection of all sizes of tags and everything. And I think, let's see if I wrote it down. I got page 1 and page 10 of her ephemera. I got these tags. So, and these 3 tags were leftovers from when we made these 2 pieces here. We had these was on the same page. So I have those left over, and I am putting those inside the smaller pocket. And then the other ones, oops, they're slightly larger. I'm putting those in here on the other pocket. And I put little ribbons on it, make it a little festive. And then for the large pocket, I made a tag. Now out of the, we cut out this jar, and the other opposite of the page had this candy cane in it, so I cut that out, and that's what I put here. A little bit of, I had a misprint on this particular page, so I used that down there, and I doubled the cardstock here just to make it a little bit heavier than the rest of it, and put in a little eyelet. And so we've got one that just fits in behind here, like so. So that's what I did there. Now the jar pocket, I used this envelope, and what I plan to do here is glue it up. And I'm going to store in here little small pieces of ephemera that can be used to put into the journal. Then she has some little tiny pieces that look like this. I'm going to put that in there. And I think I will fold the tickets in half and put the tickets in here too. Then the other leftovers we had from cutting stuff out and everything, I decided that I would use some of the words that was on here. So here we've got Christmas dinner. I thought it would be kind of fun just to cut out those words. You know, as a little something that you could journal with. So I thought that was kind of cute. And I thought I would cut out the Santa Claus. This could be a word used somewhere in the journaling. So yeah, that's what I did with all those little scraps. And then I'll have more to put in here. I've got more that I'm going to put in there. So that will just slip in just like that. And it just can be an envelope of things you want to use as you journal in the journal there. Then on the very back, I loved these pieces of ephemera. I mean, I thought they were so cool. She's got like a page of 3 of these or 4. And I thought, oh, this is just so neat. Where can I use these? So I ended up putting, I mean, it's such a great thing to put lists on, is what I thought. So I ended up putting it up here because I didn't want too much to cover up my deer. And then down here, she's got some teeny tiny ones. And I think these might be the ones on page 10. I can't remember, but these are really teeny tiny. And I'm just putting those in right down here like that on the back. So there you go. We have finished it out. So don't forget about your, if you're interested, your recipe cards. They're in my coffee shop. I'll put the link down below to get those. And yeah, so thank you so much for following along. I hope this series has given you some inspiration to maybe make your own, or maybe it can help you decorate the one you already have, or whatever. The next video I do, I'll be doing a flip through for my Etsy shop. So that will be the next video I do in a day or two. And I have a project coming up that is sort of a Christmas gift or a Christmas stocking stuffer thing that you can make with all your crafting things. And that'll be coming up next week. So thank you so much. I hope to see you again real soon. Bye.